listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Okay, you're on. Thank you, Lawrence, and good morning, viewers and listeners. This is the Wednesday morning edition of the Kingston Community Radio Talk Radio Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios here on 16 Lucas Avenue in Kingston, New York, and we'd love to hear from you. 331-9255 is our call-in number. In the studio here with me is Fred Costello, Supervisor, Town of Sorgetes. Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Lawrence.
And I hope Fred. Everybody said rabbit this morning.
Wednesday, right?
It is. No, it's the first of the month.
Oh, yeah, I know. This year is flown by.
Doesn't matter what day it is. And I don't know if you noticed, Lawrence, but I did. As soon as he walked in, it must now be officially winter.
Yes.
Fred doesn't
he's got
pants on. Shorts on. And it's actually quite mild out this morning.
It's actually, I could wear shorts today.
It was pretty. Yesterday it was like 21 when I came here yesterday. It was nippy.
It was cold.
And
It was nippy yesterday.
19 right around sunrise yesterday.
Yeah, it was cold, man, when I was walking to work yesterday. So you're feeling better, Fred? Everything's good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm all boosted. I should be safe.
I'm getting mine today. I'm hoping I don't get sick. I'm going to Florida tomorrow. I figured with all this spike and stuff, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
So it's a half a dose is what they give you?
I guess depending on what vaccine you...
I got Johnson & Johnson the first time around. Did you get the same one?
I did. I started with Moderna.
And you finished with
Moderna. Got Moderna as a booster. But the Moderna is a half dose.
Okay.
But they're not all the same. I think Pfizer's a little bit different, and I think J&J is a little different.
I thought Pfizer was a full dose.
I think it is.
I thought so.
We got to look
I could be wrong, though. That's what I had.
Did you get the same one, Greg, that you got the first time?
Yes.
Is that what they recommend when you go, or they don't?
No. And, it's not at the facility because they obviously don't have the expertise to recommend, but the CDC came out, and I think even the World Health Organization, that it didn't matter if you mixed and matched. I think they would prefer that you stay consistent.
Yeah, I'm going to.
But
did they give you the choice when you go up? Like you went to Best Buy?
Nope. I went to Woodstock Apothecary.
Oh, okay.
Because we
you went to see Neil?
I went to see Neil, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He started us off last spring, so I stuck with that. And when I got there, they asked. There was an option which one I wanted.
Same way with Best Buy.
Yeah. That's where you went?
That's where I went.
Okay, that's where I'm going, too.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And you made an appointment?
Yeah, you should make an appointment.
No, I did. I made an appointment.
Okay. Yeah, because even with the appointment, it was probably close to an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I think because the news right now is not very good, people are motivated to go.
Yeah,
and I did it 2 weeks ago.
I mean,
so.
we were motivated to go in the spring when no one had a vaccine.
But you know something?
I was online for about an hour and a half then.
I did it. My appointment was it was either 12.
My mother said she was in and out of there in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I just probably hit the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know, they were probably taking lunch breaks. And
what time did you go, Greg?
I think my appointment, if I remember correctly, was 12:45.
Okay, so people were
Yeah, that could.
And what time did you go?
We went in the afternoon, like 2:45, and we were in and out in 15 minutes.
Okay. You went to Neil.
Yeah, with an appointment.
Yeah.
And my wife, my daughter, and I all went at the same time, and we were in and out in literally 15 minutes.
Well, Jane Struzeri was volunteering down there, so when I got to where I would be the next one or so, I spotted her, and or I should say, she spotted me, and I said, "Is it always this long of a line?" And she said, "Not always," but she said, "I've seen it worse." I said,
Really?
"Oh,
and
okay."
you wrapped around the store like they did the first time.
And here's the thing: the Moderna lines went quickly, the J&J lines went quickly. They only had 4 stations administering the Pfizer.
Oh,
so that's what took. I mean, there were people that came in after me and were behind me in line, past me, because they have them in rows, and so it was that was the other thing. Now, why I don't know. I can't answer that one.
Yeah, that's a curious thing. So, do you think the Pfizer line, I think, was the longest because there's most people interested, or they just, for whatever reason, had a little bit less staff there?
There were only 4 stations for Pfizer. Okay. There had to be a dozen for Moderna. The J&J just went real quick. There wasn't much of a line. And then also you can walk in without an appointment and get either your first, second, or third shot. It's a nice setup that they have there. It's very accommodating. And, you have to wait a little bit. You have to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you got
to wait a little bit to live.
It was that day I had to stall you, remember?
Yeah. If you got to wait a little bit to live, I think people will
wait.
wait.
Going to get involved in text messages and conversations while I was standing in the line or getting vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah. It was okay.
But yes, it was.
Unfortunately, the news isn't great right now.
No, unfortunately, it is not. And just hopefully, we probably won't know for another week and a half or two that the vaccines are effective, although, last evening's news was a little bit encouraging, where you heard from Fauci, you heard from the Cleveland, the Brown Medical, what the heck's that doctor's name?
I know who you mean. I couldn't remember his name, though.
Especially with the boosters, the percentage may not be as great as what it is with the other variants, but it's still going to offer protection. They just don't know to what level, what degree. But the whole bottom line is both of them had expressed that the booster was very, very important, and the likelihood that someone would get seriously ill, require hospitalization, was minimal.
Mm-hmm.
So they were emphasizing on not only the importance of those who haven't got vaccinated to get vaccinated, but those who had their 2 shots, if it is time, if they're past that 6-month window, to get the booster.
Yeah, that is a little bit comforting. And even with the spike, the hospitalization rates are up slightly, but the severe cases are not prevalent like they were a year and a half ago when we've
correct
really gone. Yeah, and that's the key. If we could keep those serious symptoms held at bay, we're ahead of the game. A couple of my pretty close friends go through it recently, though, and fully vaccinated. So
I was in the city on Sunday, and boy, it seemed like every other street corner they had the free COVID testing.
Mm-hmm.
They had the free vaccination areas where they had a van and then a tent on the sidewalk. So
I mean, proactive trying to get people.
Yeah. And I mean, you stop and think this time of the year, especially with people wanting to get out, and the streets were crowded with a lot of people. So not only just city people, but tourism people that come in from the city have that opportunity that may not be vaccinated.
New York City's so fun this time of year.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah. Well, it can be fun. Almost. I love to people watch.
So you can easily be entertained while you're there.
Yeah.
Plenty to see.
But it is a special place this time of the year.
Absolutely.
So what else is going on?
What else is going on?
Too much is going on.
Yeah. We've been really fortunate. A lot of interesting things happening. The rink's having a good season.
Yeah, we are. And, Rob and I had a brief conversation yesterday, and I'm sure we're going to be having some further conversations of just how things play out as we approach the Christmas holidays, which, traditionally is our busiest stretch there for 10 to 14 days. And, colleges being on break, so a lot of college students home. Drop-in hockey always is very, very big, even the early morning session. So we're just going to have to see as things unfold, and obviously go by the guidance. And it is what it is, and we have to make modifications. We make modifications. We did it the first go around and the second go around, and whatever we got to do to make it happen, you make it happen. We haven't been doing the online registration, so people have just been coming in and paying. There's that added level of convenience with somebody having to register and pay online.
That's right. It worked. It
worked.
Yeah.
It worked, and it worked well. And there's been a couple of the youth hockey teams that, because individuals have become exposed youth, where they've had to cancel some games. They've been very, very proactive, and they're doing everything right. And that's about all you can do, is do everything right.
Well, it's easier to a degree. I don't even know if that's the right word. We went through this all, so we kind of know the protocols and what we should be doing, what the best practices look like. So, it's fairly quick to put those back up if we need them. Ironically, today we have the building department will be more or less closed. There probably will be only one staff member in there doing phones. There's a potential for exposure there. And out of abundance of precaution, we're going to not staff that office this morning. So if you're looking for that assistance, call. I think there's one person there that will be able to handle your call. But so far as getting inspections or personal interface, that's not going to happen this afternoon or this morning.
And you mentioned the fact we've been through this before, and I just don't understand, with especially the news with the new Omicron variant, why there's that hesitancy, that reluctancy for people not to get vaccinated, to have to go through what we went through. And I'm not saying that's going to be the case, because more than obviously 50%. I mean, in New York State, I think we're up around 80% that have been vaccinated, where the first go around, that certainly was not the case. But still, New York City issued a mask advisory, not a mandate, for masks in all indoor facilities. And obviously, when came into the train station, you had to have a mask on in the train, and you got into Grand Central, it was the same thing. Now, there were some people that did not have their masks on in the train station, and it seems like they were left, because there was a lot of police presence. That's the other thing, both in Grand Central, on the streets, which I think
there's an active push to enhance community policing right now, because during COVID, there was a spike up in crime, not just in New York, but in everywhere, really. And I think there's been an attempt to increase the visual community presence of police officers and help suppress some of that crime activity that came around during COVID. And I think that is actually working. I think people feel safer.
Yes,
and,
yeah.
The subways are starting to become busy again. So those are all positive trends.
And again, if the crowds of people who are any indication, I think people do feel safe for the most part, and just having that presence is reassuring to individuals, to people.
Agreed. Agreed.
So we got a couple of announcements.
See the Snowflake Festival on top?
You want to do that one?
Yeah, I could do that one.
Okay.
So this will be this Friday, December 3rd. There'll be a tree lighting, a Santa visit, a fire twirler, ice carving, stilt band, jugglers, fiddlers, dancers, and singers. This will be in Uptown Kingston. It's a free community event sponsored by KUBA, the Kingston Uptown Business Association. And there's no time for. It begins at 6 o'clock and will remain open until 8 o'clock. So there's a lot of really nice activities. There's a brochure with a really nice map. I'm sure this is available online as well, where the activities are centered and what's going on. And some great sponsors for it. This is a really nice event.
It is. And I've got the Wreaths Across America, sponsored by the Sorgeties VFW Post 5034, sponsoring a bus trip, as they do every year, to Saratoga National. Of course, last year that was not the case, but in previous years to that. Remember the fallen, honor those who serve, teach our children the value of freedom by placing wreaths on the grave sites. It's $15 per person. The bus leaves from the Greco Senior Center at 10 a.m., returns approximately 5 p.m., and there'll be a cash lunch stop. To purchase more wreaths, the cost is $15 each. Checks payable to Sorgeties VFW Post 5034, P.O. Box 152, Sorgeties, New York, 12477. And the contact for that is Bob Howe, who does a tremendous amount for our veterans. Bob Howe can be reached at 845-246-8510, 246-8510. Don't say I should have, say I did. Again, that's the Wreaths Across America bus trip to Saratoga National, Saturday, December the 18th.
And then I have an announcement for a production of Sister Act Jr. The music is by Alan Menken, the lyrics by Glenn Slater, and the book is by Sherry Steinkeller and Bill Steinkeller. Additional book material is based on Douglas Carter Bean. This event will take place on December 3rd at 7 p.m., December 4th at 2 p.m., and again at 7 p.m., and December 5th at 2 p.m. This will be held at the Watson J. Bailey Auditorium. Ticket sales began on November 15th and will close December 1st. So today, if you folks want to get your advance tickets, today's the day to do it. Tickets are $7 for adults, $5 for children and seniors. All tickets must be purchased in advance. No tickets will be available at the door. Seats will be assigned for each row. To purchase tickets, go to World Wide Web showtixforyou.com at events at JWB. So this is a pretty special event, and if you're interested, you have to make that decision this afternoon. Last day to get tickets.
So get your tickets if you have intentions of going to that event. And we got a couple events coming up in Sorgeties, but I'm not going to steal the thunder because Bob Circusano is going to be joining us at 7:35. He's going to be substituting for Police Chief Joe Sinagra, who's away at state training. We talk about all the time when the police chiefs are here and other from law enforcement, the amount of training in the course of a year that a police officer, and in this case, the police chief, and of course, Joe's been very, very proactive in continuing education and being proactive, which we all should be. I mean, things are just so rapidly changing, and you can never get enough education. Plus, he's now a movie celebrity, so I'm sure he's...
You need an appointment to see him.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's engulfed in some media blitz or media.
Yeah. Lieutenant Schwartz out there with him as well. And training is essential to modern policing being successful because, as you just said, things change constantly, and you have to keep pace with those trends. And law enforcement, there's been so many drivers around law enforcement. We all know the social issues that are surrounding law enforcement, and we're also aware of the changes in bail reform and other discovery and things of that nature that, once the laws are written and they start to be deployed, there's a learning curve that goes along with that. So the practices of how that's being enforced, not just here in our community, but across the state, it's important to have that perspective of how other communities are handling the same challenges, and we may learn something. We will learn something inevitably. Find out you're doing it well, or find out you could be doing it much better.
Correct.
And I know you make priority of training as well, and as you go away, you learn practices that you bring back home on a regular basis as well.
It's very, very important. And here's the other thing. There's been on 2 different occasions where claims were levied against us. One at the ice arena, and then one quite a number of years ago involving an incident that took place on a ball field. And of course, everything gets blown out of proportion. Where with the case at the ice arena, that the ice wasn't properly maintained, wasn't properly cut by the Zamboni, the operator was negligent, was not trained properly. The whole gamut that they throw at you. And last year, 4 of the staff members that are certified, actually it was 5, I believe, took the recertification for Zamboni training, and the others will be doing it over the winter this year.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that certification and that documentation, just like other certifications, goes a long way.
Does go a long way.
Especially when it gets to be in a court of law, or even just given your initial DBA, your deposition before DBT, I should say, before trial, does go a long way. Mm-hmm. And with the police, it's even amplified much greater.
Yeah, it is. And I'm thinking, as you're speaking, I'm thinking of the building departments too.
Oh yeah, there's
been so much change with the trend towards outdoor activities like food truck festivals and things of that nature. And unfortunately, we learn from other people's mistakes. And I was very struck by as we planned the food truck festival going into this season, we were made aware of a bad accident that happened with a food truck at another event, and the accumulation of propane in that vehicle created a small bomb.
Right.
And miraculously, no one got hurt, but you could see the risks and dangers of not having those set up properly and having the correct ventilation. So, the fire and safety inspections, we made a priority out of make sure that the folks that came to our festival this year were safe, and we'll just build on that going forward next year.
It was the same with the Garlic Festival.
Same with Garlic Festival.
A lot of changes. The spacing between booths, the need to have a fire lane behind the cooking booths because, again, of the propane. Mm-hmm. When you have a fuel source and open flame, that can be, as you just mentioned with the occurrence that almost occurred, mm-hmm. A ticking bomb.
Yep.
And we had to make between the Kiwanis and us, the town, a $10,000 investment for protective panels on the basketball court where the propane tanks got staged. So they were a distance away, and yet if a fire did break out, there was that separation, that fire lane between the back of the booths and where the propane tanks were. And it's just something we're learning from incidents and other people's mistakes and other people's scenarios where there were incidents that sometimes did not turn out for the best. And you just have to take those measures. And it was the same way the security measures that were taken a couple of years ago after what occurred out at the Garlic Festival on the West Coast.
Yeah.
In California.
Yep.
So anyway, I mentioned Bob Circasano at 7:35, and then we have the rest of the law enforcement gang will be coming in at some point between sometime after 7:35. Sheriff Juan Figueroa, Police Chief Kyle Berardi, and I believe our police captain, I believe Mario is going to make it. Hopefully, if he's unable, he sends a replacement because it's always good to hear from our state police.
It is.
So we'll have
full lineup today.
Yeah, we'll have we'll have somebody from the county level, from somebody from the state, and Kyle is always entertaining.
He is always entertaining.
Yeah. He's getting up at the level with Chief Tinty.
Fighting over a microphone.
You know? So. But I don't think anybody can outdo Tinty with his facial expressions, his hand expressions. And a couple times I've watched him. He's come very close to whacking you in the face with.
I'm ready for him, though. I keep just enough distance so I have a little time to react if I need it. But he's a good guest.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
All of them are.
Diverse. I know we have him on because of his position as chief, but I think we enjoy more when he talks about maple syrup and bees and the farm and everything else. It's
or like when he brought the maple syrup in and we had quite a feast here.
Yeah, we definitely like to eat. It's good stuff.
331-9255 is our call-in number. We would love to hear from you. And as a reminder to our viewers and listeners, if you made a pledge to the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund, please don't forget to send your check in to Kingston Community Radio, P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. And you can also do it electronically via Venmo. And if you just go on to the Kingston Community Radio website, it'll give you the address. It's very, very easy to do. A few clicks of the mouse, and boom.
We'll be right there. So, you mentioned Kiwanis, and Doc Kapler came to our last meeting a little over a week ago and made a presentation and highlighted that it was a successful garlic festival this year.
Yes.
And I was very happy for Kiwanis and the folks that helped put that together, because I know, there was obviously last year we couldn't do it, but this year when they were doing it, they were so anxious about whether it could be successful, whether they could do it, and people would still want to come and all of that. And I was really happy for them that it was successful, and it was good for us.
Yes.
Their legacy in supporting all kinds of community groups is tremendous. And how much did they donate so far? It's a substantial amount of money.
As of Garlic Festival 2017, they went over the $2 million mark.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So I'm sure they're up near they're approaching the $2.5 million mark. I'm sure.
That's amazing.
It is.
That is for a service club. I mean, when we used to be in our heyday with Lions doing the expo, we used to raise around, after paying it for everything, we used to take profit, to give away around 60, maybe 70 grand, which was a lot back in the 80s. I mean, we would have the armory for Thursday night, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. And that was still, 4 days of every lion. And there was like 190 lions back then. And we were working around the clock, and I was, young back then. But that was a lot of money. So $2 million that's crazy. Yeah. And that's Saugerties Kiwanis, right? That's their biggest. Yeah. With that kind of fundraising, you don't need to do anything else to raise money for the rest of the year. I mean, because it's such a big event to.
Yeah, and there's a spin-off effect. Yeah. Blue Cats is another.
Right. And how many years are we entering now with that? It's well over 20 years.
Oh, it's over 30.
Yeah, because Pat and Reppert started that, right?
Yes, Pat Reppert started it on her farm on Hummelville Road.
Yeah.
And then it got too big.
Yeah. She used to come in and record. I used to record them for her when people were busy. She used to do recipes, and they would be read on the air on GHQ. This is back when, when we were on, before my parents sold GHQ in B94. And she would come in and do about 16, 17 recipes, and she would read them, and then we would play them, on a little show we had, like this show we had for like a half hour. And she had I'm telling you, man, she had a stack of like a 3-ring binder. Most of them were Southern, but man, they were good. She had some really good recipes. So,
you tried a couple?
Yeah, I don't think they came out as good as hers, but sometimes she would bring food into her office. Remember, she had that really deep Southern accent. She was cool.
She was an interesting lady.
She was. She was very smart. I like Pat Reppert. She was cool.
She's really
3 years. 3 years she held it on the farm, and then it just got too big, and I'm sure.
Who thought it would take off like that? I mean,
well, when Bob Yerrick approached me, Bob Yerrick was involved. I believe he was also mayor at the time, and approached me about a garlic festival, and I asked him, well, how many people do you expect? He said, you might get 7,000, maybe a little more. And I looked at him like he was a Martian.
And now it's more like 60 or 70 throughout the whole weekend, right?
Well, no. It's never been that. The most has been 50. Okay.
And that was before COVID? Or is it this year? And this year, where did you guys get it?
2000, and there was that real good weather weekend, 2008, 2009, and it grew from 1 day to 2 days, and it is very, very remarkable, and the number of organizations that they put money back into is amazing. And I've said this time and time again, if it wasn't for the Kiwanis Club of Sorgates, there'd be no ice arena in Sorgates.
Right.
There would be no ice arena in Sorgates. There'd be no ice arena employing people. Winter would come like I had to do years ago, and people would get laid off, and it provides jobs.
Yes.
And there's that economic spinoff that we
Right.
talk about all the time. The other thing that's very important, you mentioned Doc Kapler came to the meeting, and he presented a check, and that represented basically staff overtime from my department. He did likewise with the police, Kiwanis does. So, there's been a very small percentage of individuals who have questioned me in the past. I don't know if it's with jealousy or what, with Kiwanis and their success about what it costs. Well, it does cost. It does cost money to raise that kind of money.
Yeah.
But and that was only just for the regular staff. Prior to that, all the additional staff that we hire, they also pay them directly. We are at the bottom of the hour, so we'll be back in a few.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Screening exams for breast, lung, or colorectal cancers are necessary to detect and treat disease at its earliest, most curable stage. But you may have some concerns and questions. Answer your questions and ease your fears by visiting radiologyinfo.org. In addition to information on screening and wellness, you'll find more than 200 descriptions of radiologic exams, procedures, and treatments to help you prepare. Get informed and be prepared. Visit radiologyinfo.org. Produced by the Radiological Society of North America and the American College of Radiology.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio has been brought to you by the First Savings Bank in Ulster County that still remains local to this day. Ulster Savings Bank, a community bank that's invested in local business, invested in community, invested in you. Ulster Savings Bank, your one-stop resource for everything local. Locations throughout the Hudson Valley and online at ulstersavings.com. Member FDIC.
Thank you, Lawrence, and welcome back, viewers and listeners. 331-9255 is our call-in number. We would love to hear from you this morning. Anything that's on your mind. Supervisor Fred Costello is alongside me in the studio.
Good morning.
And we are expecting Bob Circusano to be calling in to talk about some events happening in the village.
Beginning this weekend. It's good.
And I may just shoot him a little reminder text or just see if something may have come up with him. And we'll see what he has to say. And if not, we'll I'm sure between the two of us we could
some airtime.
We could certainly dive into things.
We were talking about this off air, but it's kind of it's something to celebrate because both teams won. The Jets and the Giants won this week. And
was that the first time in 15 years?
It was a pretty long time in between. Not that any team is contenders for playoffs, but there was some reasons for optimism, and it was kind of fun. Good to see. And Dallas lost, so that kind of makes me almost as happy as when our teams win.
Yes. I always love it when Dallas loses.
I always like it too. I don't know why. It's just fun. I sort of get it because I'm a Yankee fan, and there's a lot of guys that just root against the Yankees. Whoever they're playing, they root for. And I guess I have that philosophy with Dallas.
Oh, it's just like with baseball, with Boston.
Yeah, with Boston. Yep. So it's pretty funny. All right. I see Lawrence picked up the phone, so I think we got our guest.
Just pick up the phone. Okay, I believe we've got Mr. Sorgetes, Bob Circusano. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good morning, Bob. Doing great. Thanks for calling in.
No problem. So we got a big day on Sunday, as you know, December 5th. The Sorgetes Chamber of Commerce sponsors Holiday in the Village. And with that, we have a lot going on. I think we have more going on this year than probably ever before. And I'll start saying,
what else is new?
Yeah. We have the window painting contest. As you know, at the Kingston house, we have Santa and his helpers. They're going to be giving away cookies and also coloring books. On Petition Street, we're going to have Hope Rocks, who will be having playing holiday music. They're going to be providing 3 different groups of music, bands that will be playing not all at the same time, but they'll be taking their turns. And we also have 2 young ladies that will be going in and out of the restaurants, a doo-wop group that will be singing holiday music, which is the first time we've done that. We've done that during the car show, and people loved it whenever we went into a restaurant. As you know, Ray Mayone and his lovely wife Carolyn will have the horse and wagon out there, giving kids rides up and down the streets. And then Seaman Park, we have the lighting of the Christmas tree at 5 o'clock. And the Boys and Girls Club will have that craft fair on Sunday from 12 to 5. So, and then we have the big toy giveaway, which is we purchased over 150 bicycles, and we'll be giving away probably 100 bikes on that day. The rest of those bikes will be distributed through People's Place and also the Sorgetes Council of Churches that we always support. We purchased a lot of toys, so there's not going to be any shy of toys there. We have a lot of good stuff, and the toy drive, again, is going to be like 1 o'clock, 2:30, and 4, and it's no cost to get a ticket. Just please just take one ticket. Don't go back in line, and we watch out for stuff like that. But we expend a nice day. It's going to be from 12 to 6, and with that, I think the weather's going to be good. Maybe a little bit chilly. But my volunteers will all be out there, and I want to thank all the people at the business people in town and the non-business people in town that made a donation for this Sunday, so that we could do this in a wonderful way. But other than that, as you know, last Tuesday, Fred, we had that fire in Glasgow.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, where we lost those people, 7 homes.
7 families. Yep.
7 families lost their place. I knew that Freddie gave me a call and said to Freeman he was talking to and wanted to know if we could do something with my foundation, and we did. And honestly, it's turning out very well. We've taken in a lot of donations that were dropped off at Sawyer Motors and also mailed in. And my brother and I, both dealerships, we matched the first $5,000. and I'm happy to say we're going to go beyond that. So please send in those checks in, make it out to the Sawyer Automotive Foundation, and just put a note on there that is for the Glasgow fire. We will be distributing this money much prior to Christmas.
That's phenomenal. Bob.
Congratulations to you guys, because there's never a good time for a tragedy like that, but right at the beginning of the holiday season pretty much is the worst time to have it happen.
2 days before Thanksgiving.
2 days before Thanksgiving.
I didn't realize there were 7 families.
Yeah, there's 7 families there.
Wow.
Yep.
2 of them had the proper insurance. The other 5 did not.
Yeah.
There was two cats that didn't make it through the fire. They've received a lot of donations of clothing, so they're all set with that. They got their furniture. A lot of people donated furniture. They're good with that. So, I've been talking to Lucy Carpenter and Kevin, and they've been very supportive. They're trying to, make an impact on these 7 families in which they have. So, we all feel for them. It is a tough time, and I heard the Red Cross was there doing what they normally do, and which was tremendous, and put these people up so they had a place to sleep that night. So it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And the support from the whole town was just everybody was stopping in. I took checks from $20 to I got a check the other day. Someone wrote me a check and didn't give me his name and nothing, and he made a check out for that family for $1,000. So
it's really heartwarming to see the community mobilize the way it did, and congratulations to you and Larry, because you guys kind of stepped right in and created that point where people could donate money directly to those families. So thank you for that. And but it was really heartwarming to see the community mobilize that quickly.
No, I know he had a crew over there butting the place up, and I knew he had a lot of friends and volunteers. That was kind of nice to help him get through that day. So, and to move on. So that's and then the following Sunday, as you know, we're having a drive-through, and this is going to be an invite only for the children of the first responders. So, in other words, what it means by invite, they have to be invited from the children's first responders to bring their child to Cantines Field, and they will receive a holiday gift, as we did in the past. So,
Bob, yesterday I was going to ask you if you had a flyer or something to send down so we can announce it on the radio. So, what time does it actually start?
I believe it's going to be at noontime. It's going to be like noon to 3. It's only going to be 3 hours.
Right.
Okay. And we're going to do it. They won't even get out of their car. They're boxing up all the toys now, and we just had another delivery, a pallet delivery of toys, and we went out and purchased more because we didn't have as many toys that we had last year. But again, you have to be invited. You have to be a family member of a fireman, a policeman, ambulance service, or doctor. A doctor or a nurse. We're talking first responders. Last year, we kind of at the end we let everybody come in, but this year we don't have the support of toys to do that. So we want to make sure that the children of the first responders, get taken care of.
And it's an interesting coalition of organizations, including Sawyer Motors, that make that possible. Al Khan's organization is a big part of it. I believe CSX is again, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
They're very involved with that. That organization.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, and I don't want anyone to get the impression that it's some type of exclusive party. Those organizations have all identified families of first responders who are in need, and they're reaching out through their network to make sure that those families have a joyful Christmas as well.
Yep. And then on September 29th, the chamber having a skating party, correct, Greg? Is it the 29th, I think?
Yes.
My invite says, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's is that the Wednesday after?
Yes, it's the last Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is, and I believe with an email that I saw, you have to RSVP for this one?
Correct. Yes, you do. Yep.
And that's, I gather, because of the number of people they probably...
I think they're going to try to cap it in interest of safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's sponsored by Sawyer Motors and my good friend Peggy, Town and Country. So it should be exciting. It's gonna. I don't know. Last time I put a pair of skates on, but it's It's been a long time.
Oh,
Maybe we
geez,
should
Bob.
have Diaz there at the same time. What do you think, Greg?
Look, here's the deal. If you're going to go out on the ice, okay, somebody needs to be escorting you, okay? So you don't fall and break a bone or split open your head or anything like
That's
that.
the last thing we need.
That is the last thing we need.
I think I'm just going to wear those snowshoes. You know those big snowshoes,
Big
about
ones.
4 foot long.
There you go.
Is Peggy going to skate too?
Pardon me?
Is Peggy going to skate?
I believe so.
Wow.
Sure.
Good for her.
So.
Good. That'll be a fun day.
Yeah.
That's the first time they've done a
Yes.
This. We've had the Village Chamber of Commerce at the ice arena previously,
Yep.
but it was never billed as a as a skate party.
Yeah.
We did give them the option to go out and skate without any charge, but this should be quite interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So.
And I kind of figured, just with the attraction of it, is because normally you don't have to RSVP for a chamber mixer,
Yeah.
but in this case here you do have to RSVP.
And you know what I forgot? On Sunday too, we're having the firemen's parade.
That's the highlight of it all.
Yeah. Yes, it is. That's the big thing where they go through town blowing those horns, and ended up at Siemens Park with the lighting of the Christmas tree.
And the fire companies really
They take it seriously.
They take it seriously,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's not just Sorgeties. We've had in the
Ulster.
past town of Ulster, Ruby, and may have been another one that. But yeah, they.
Glasgow shows up, right?
Yes.
Oh
Most
yeah,
of them.
yeah, I think all of the local
Yeah.
fire companies.
It's really you got to tip your hat to the volunteers because those trucks, the creativity and the way they're decorated for the parade is pretty amazing. They do a really nice job.
And they all look like brand new, don't they?
They do.
Like they've never been used before.
It's true. There's a lot of pride
Yeah.
amongst those volunteers. You know, those trucks go out. I know in the fire last week, the Glasgow crew stayed pretty much till midnight before they left the firehouse, making sure everything was clean and put away for 2 reasons. One, out of pride, and they keep it all looking good, but there's no guarantee that they wouldn't have another emergency, so they have to be prepared just in case.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I got a phone call from the state senator's assistant yesterday that Michelle Hinchy is going to be coming to the holiday in the village on Sunday.
Oh, excellent.
Great.
So
It's it's going to be a good day. As you mentioned, the weather looks okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little chilly, but it is
It's
December.
supposed to be great.
But earlier, maybe it was late last week. They had showers in the fort. It looks like the rain's going to hold off now
Good.
till Sunday night.
Rain's fine by me.
Yeah,
Better than snow.
Oh yes, yeah.
But I just want the restaurants to to have one of their better days for December, with all the extra people coming in town and enjoying the event and listen to all the music and maybe pick up a toy and then go through the restaurants and have lunch or dinner. Or something like that.
Yeah.
It's great that we're able to do this again. So
And I think we're going to get a nice turnout, especially all weekend. The forecast is dry, and I think people are more apt. It's one thing to get wet in July as opposed to December.
Absolutely, yeah.
Looks-
But there's
looks
something going at the Orpheum as well.
yes, that's correct. There's going to be Orpheum is going to be playing holiday movies, no charge for the children, so they could just go right in for the day. So that's a nice thing. I didn't go to the grand opening. I was away, but I heard it went very well.
It did.
Yes.
Yeah. Jen and I went, and we were so glad that we did. And they've done a beautiful job with restoration. And then what I was equally impressed with, the job they did at the old JJ Newberry's.
Yes. Yeah.
They had a reception after that. The food was over there, and that's I can remember that growing up in the village, the JJ Newberry's department store and the downstairs.
Felt a lot bigger when we were kids, didn't it?
Yeah, that's just I said, boy, I remember this as being much bigger. But they've also done a nice job, and it's good to see both the Orpheum come back and the work that's been put into the J.J. Newberrys, the old J.J. Newberrys.
Yeah,
I had a meeting with her 2 weeks ago that Jennifer and I are planning a fundraiser in the J.J. Newberrys, and this is going to be sometime in April where we're going to invite all the local artists in our community to bring their talents of what they sell, and we're not going to charge them to bring their stuff, and we're going to have like a night where all the artists have their stuff on display. If they hopefully they could sell it and make a little money. At the same time, we're going to charge a minimum fee at the door. We're going to have light beverages, beer and wine and finger food. We're going to have light music, and then those proceeds will go to a local charity. We haven't decided yet, but we're working on where that money could go, and we're planning that sometime in April because that place is suited for an event, especially something like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating to a degree. Our art community is so strong in Saugerties, and it's a little bit under-recognized. So I think an event like you're planning will help bring another lens to it and kind of celebrate it in a better light. And we really have some talented people that are not just regionally known, but nationally and internationally known. And their work is really something pretty incredible.
And Jennifer's got an event coming there. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. In December, I think it's going to be where. Remember, a couple of years ago, she had an event there where the crafts people came. I took a picture of it in front of her Main Street restaurant last night on December 18th and 19th. So maybe that's something we could get her to call in and talk a little bit about that. Because
absolutely,
that's going to bring people to the village.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think next Wednesday. I think next Wednesday we've got
we have a vacancy.
We have a void at 7:35.
There we go.
Right, you got 5 Wednesdays coming up in December. Actually, it is December. So.
I'm aware of that. I've actually got.
I know you are. I'm not. I just
But I believe. Just double check me. Next week, 7:35. We don't have a scheduled guest, right?
No, I have Bob scheduled actually on the website. I have Sawyer Motors penciled.
Yeah, wherever we have voids, we just put in Bob.
I put Bob Circusano in.
I'll try to get a hold.
He has a different event every week, so this week we're talking about.
Bob, why don't you reach out to her? Give her my cell phone number.
I will.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. Thank you for that suggestion, and perfect timing too, because you said what's the date? 17th or 18th?
I hung up my phone. Hang on one second. You can see 17th and 18th. So we're good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 18th
Yeah, we'll be a week ahead of it.
Yeah, we'll be a week ahead of it.
That'll be people just to go in there and just see what it looks like now. As you put those, those heaters and ACs on the wall. I mean, this is a place that could operate all year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was chilly that evening, but it was more than comfortable.
And one last thing, if anybody in the village, if anybody that needs a mask, we have a major supply of masks. If any families that need them, we have them at Sawyer Motors, and also we will have them available for this Sunday. Anybody feels, would like to pick one up, we will have them at the main stage at Wreaths' lot. And this is all being taken place at the Wreaths' lot, right where the Christmas tree is. And by the way, the town did a wonderful job with the tree. I mean, it really looks great.
Village, you got
the village, and they did a great job. Turned out very nice.
Yeah, they did. Those the DPW staff there really takes a lot of pride in putting that together.
The mayor last week, when the mayor was on, said that is the one thing that his crew there, the village DPW crew, they look so forward to every year. Here you got grown, as Murph put, grown, gruffy men, and they're like little kids. And apparently, the tree that they got, there were some voids in it, so they actually took and cut some lower branches, down at the bottom,
into the trunk,
and drilled holes into the trunk and stuck those in to fill the void.
Somebody's watching YouTube videos to learn how to do that. That's a smart move, though.
Absolutely. Who would ever thought about that? But that's how they really get into it. And the tree does look beautiful. And then the other thing that he had told me, years ago when I was growing up in the village, I remember the Christmas decorations that went across, that spanned the buildings on Main and Petition Street. And, they had the big bulb lights and the big bells.
Mm-hmm. I remember those a little bit.
They put all that apparently up in the attic of, I guess, the Donlin. So the village DPW brought one of those bells out, and apparently they've got it lit.
Oh, really?
At Wreaths, yeah. So, those things have got to be, my God, I remember them. I had to be, I don't know, 5-6 years old when they had those, and
that's good.
Going back quite a number of years. I didn't even realize they kept them.
Yeah, that was smart.
Yeah.
Somebody probably stowed them away and forgot about them.
But the tree really looks.
The village looks really good right now.
Yes.
They're still putting the boughs on the street lights, but other than that, it's ready to go for the weekend. It's going to look great by then. And I know there's a lot of work happening at Seaman Park to make sure that's prepared as well.
And then after the firemen's parade, things shift to Seaman Park, right, Bob?
That's correct.
For the tree lighting?
Yep. That's where all those trucks are going to end up, and then I think the Kiwanis does a thing, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, which is nice. They've done it.
And, that's another great thing that they do is they spearhead and pay for all those Christmas decorations. And, inevitably, with the extent of the decorating that they do, things have to get replaced.
Yes.
Practically every single year. It's probably every single year. But that's all at their cost. And then you take, as you come in from the west side into the village, the Blue Cats,
do a great
with the job they do on the right-hand side. And they expanded on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks spectacular. And what a nice entryway into the village for those coming off the thruway.
It just really sets a nice holiday tone. And
so, there's two organizations that, again, I don't think people realize the work that they put into it. They do all of the work, and all of the expense is borne by Kiwanis with Seaman Park and the Blue Cats for the entryway.
And Bob, you'll appreciate this story. I don't know if you saw me out there. I had a gentleman with me from out of town, and we drove past the dealership, and he saw the Christmas tree made of hubcaps.
Yeah.
And he goes, I never seen anything like it. He goes, would you mind going back so I could take a picture? I'm like, sure, we'll go back.
It's the only tree I ever had where people pull over, taking photos. I'll never forget the time when Christmas morning my wife says, go get some coffee cups. I went to coffee cups because we had people coming over. And I walk into the dealership, and there's a guy laying on the ground in front of the Christmas tree shooting photos from the ground up for the tree. I said, you kidding me?
Yeah, he's trying to get that perspective.
Yeah, the sun was hitting it just right, and it was just awesome. So.
Oh, I bet when the sun comes up, and now that you mention that, because you got Ulster Avenue and you got the sun coming up in the east, I bet that is spectacular on a bright sunny morning, especially with the silver color of
of all the hubcaps.
Yeah,
pretty neat. Yeah,
Okay,
this gentleman never saw it before, and he was really it caught his eye right away. He was really excited. So.
Yeah. Well, I've been on here for almost 25 minutes. I think let somebody else call in, and I want to thank you for giving me the time to talk about Holland in the Village and all the good stuff we're working on.
Absolutely, anytime. And don't forget, reach out to Jennifer. Give her my cell number.
I'll send her a text
I think
today.
she'd be a great guest. And emphasize to her, she does not have to come to the studio. She can call in. Of course, if she wants to come to the studio, she may.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You want to go to break down and then come back early?
Yeah, we can.
or you can do whatever.
Sheriff Juan Figueroa just
joining
walked
us.
in.
Yeah.
Just got a knuckle 5 from him.
Yeah, the first.
Knuckle to knuckle, though, not knuckle to face. And as we approach 8 o'clock, I'm sure the sheriff's got a lot to talk about. We are also expecting our state police captain and the police chief from town of Ulster. So we'll be back in a few.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Screening exams for breast, lung, or colorectal cancers are necessary to detect and treat disease at its earliest, most curable stage. But you may have some concerns and questions. Answer your questions and ease your fears by visiting radiologyinfo.org. In addition to information on screening and wellness, you'll find more than 200 descriptions of radiologic exams, procedures, and treatments to help you prepare. Get informed and be prepared. Visit radiologyinfo.org. Produced by the Radiological Society of North America and the American College of Radiology.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio has been brought to you by the First Savings Bank in Ulster County that still remains local to this day. Ulster Savings Bank, a community bank that's invested in local business, invested in community, invested in you. Ulster Savings Bank, your one-stop resource for everything local. Locations throughout the Hudson Valley and online at ulstersavings.com. Member FDIC.
It'll be louder. He's very loud. Thank you, Lawrence, and welcome back, viewers and listeners. Those have been with us, those just joining us, 331-9255 is our call-in number. In the studio here is Sheriff Juan Figueroa, Ulster County Sheriff.
Good morning, everybody.
Fred Costello, Town Supervisor from Sorgeties. We just had to take probably an urgent call. He's always very, very busy. And we are expecting, I guess you said Lieutenant Davis is downstairs?
I saw the state police lieutenant in his car on a phone.
Okay. So, and then also Kyle Berardi, who is the police chief from the town of Ulster. I'm sure he'll be wandering in shortly. But before we get going here, it's time for birthdays. So what do we have here?
Well, December 1st. And let's wish a happy birthday to Betsy Geary from your friends at People's Place. And what a great place that is. We hope you enjoy your special day today, Betsy. Happy birthday.
And that's it? No others? Oh, no others today. So, Betsy Geary, guess what? Happy birthday and congratulations. When you get the opportunity, get down to Boyce Dairy Milk House, 62 O'Neill Street, right here in Kingston. Pick up your famous cow pie, which is courtesy of Boyce Dairy Milk House and Kingston Community Radio. And listeners and viewers, please, it's so easy to send in the birthdays, anniversaries. You can email to kcr921@gmail.com. You can postal mail to Kingston Community Radio, P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, New York, 12402. So once again, Betsy Geary, congratulations, happy birthday, have yourself an awesome day, and enjoy that cow pie.
Oh, I guess I was wrong.
You were throwing a curveball at me, weren't you, Sheriff?
You know what? All I saw with his head.
I guess you sold you out.
Yes. I thought the lieutenant was in the car. I couldn't see who was in the car. His windows are tinted.
Need to change.
Let's not go that far. They're not that
Maybe he needs to change glasses. I don't know. So
True is, I didn't have my glasses on.
Two heavyweights just came out.
Thank you.
State Police Captain Mario Restivo and Kyle Berardi. I love that tie. Kyle Berardi, Police Chief from the town of Ulster.
I would say I knew it was gonna. Does it bring out my eyes, Greg?
Yes, it does. It brings out your eyes.
Now, Mario, we were just talking about weight the other day, weren't we? And he just calls us two heavyweights.
No.
So I'm just I'm not really sure how to take that now.
No, I don't mean weight wise, of course, because look how fit and trim our state police captain is.
That was making more fun of you. It's okay. I work hard.
I have no comment.
Sinaga's not here, so
I'm well over my 50s here. So
Juan's just sitting in the corner like, hey, Greg, you're on your own on this one. Just let me know when you're done.
It's fun watching the ship sink,
How's everybody this morning? All right.
Morning,
fine and dandy. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Oh, it was good. It was good. I think obviously we ate too much, like I'm sure most of America did.
I know I did.
Good food.
You always say you're only going to go for one plate, and it turns out to be more.
And then guess what? On the 25th of this month, we're going to do it all again.
It's just like I'll never do that again. After Thanksgiving, I'll never do that again. A month later, there you are.
It was just a little food and football, and maybe a little nap on the couch. That's Thanksgiving and Christmas, right?
That's good.
That is
nap.
good.
A nap is good. I could use a nap.
It's too early for a nap.
Yeah, Sheriff, you've been extremely busy. We missed you.
Yeah, I was here at the last one. I was here at the last meeting.
Not the
He
previous
snuck in before he was leaving for Lake George, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I
stuck
stopped
in.
then. I was
Sinagra couldn't make it, but he was able to.
Right.
Sheriff was able to stop in before he went.
I was really talking about the WGHQ Happy Christmas.
Oh, and he missed.
Oh yes, I was up
for that.
I was up there for that. That's what I was at a conference for that.
Yeah,
Sheriff, you can't keep it straight. I know.
I can't remember
you're
anymore.
Up there a little bit in the age.
It's over 50. I'm telling you, man. You can't remember all these. But I was at a conference. And Eric Benjamin sat in for me.
Yes, he did. Yes, we had a. I don't know if we discussed it already, but we had a fantastic day.
Good.
And the whole
Mario was picking on me too much. I think, though.
I find that really hard to believe. Really.
I had a lot of fun.
So what is it when Sinagra's not in the room or in a place? They pick on you.
I guess I'm the next pecking order. It's just.
Something. You remember when he came in? I started with a compliment to him. How that tie was awesome. The blue tie was.
I know, but you're good with me. You and I are good today. I guess everybody else. I don't know what the.
Let's make it bad. It could have been better. It could have been a purple tie.
You're right. I guess if I was making what you were making, I would be wearing purple.
I don't know why it goes back to that. That scope of responsibility, and maybe they pay for that.
So interesting. When I got elected to sheriff, my first week at the sheriff's office, I was thinking, well, maybe I should sit in there with a purple tie. And I was just, it's too early. It's just too early for that. So I didn't do it. But one thing I will tell you is that if you look at most sheriff's officers in their uniforms throughout the state, they no longer have gray trousers. It's either all black or all blue. And we had it's a traditional uniform from the sheriff's office to have gray trousers. So I actually reached out to my old job in the state police. And if you notice our deputies, these are state police trousers that we have now. And we changed the uniform. We actually went to one uniform back in 2000 and the end of 2019, early 2020. And one thing I'll tell you is that you're always going to save money with these trooper pants because it's really hard to get your hand in your pocket to pull out money. Because the pocket angle is straight up and down, and you can't reach in there.
I gotta say, talking about not fitting in today, you guys just poured on the same pair of pants today. Look at you two.
Wait a minute, I still have my original troop. Shoes on.
Well, the buckle shoes we call them, right? The parade shoes. But you resold them, which is very smart to do because otherwise they're we used to call them slicks. Right? Yeah, they're slicks. There's really no traction.
They look good for they're hall walker shoes, huh?
Right.
Yes.
Carpet walkers, as they used to call them up in Albany.
Walkers.
carpet walkers. You can only do.
Turning on me, and I do want you to know some people from Albany probably listen to this. They're up there.
If you have more than 2 years up in Albany, you're considered a carpet walker. I could say that. I'm retired.
And the academy,
That's right.
which is inclusive.
That's
of
Albany,
that.
yeah.
And that can go from the rank of trooper to the superintendent.
Absolutely.
And you're not that in that capacity. You're looking at boots on the ground kind of guy, Mario.
Absolutely. But I did spend a year in field command, which was in division headquarters, and I wore my boots. I didn't wear
boots,
yes,
or your carpet walkers.
No. Those are buckle shoes. Those are
Okay, so you're talking the division headquarters in Albany.
Yes.
And the academy's right next door.
When you said carpet walkers, I thought you were referring to like the LOB.
So most of the buildings at the state police up in Albany have carpet. And there's a static that comes from that when you're walking the carpet. When you touch somebody, you kind of electrocute somebody.
You
so
zap
you zap them, so you call the carpet walker.
Well, I tell you,
the education you're getting, Greg.
Learn something.
Incredible, right?
I can't say I learned something new. It's multiple things I learn every first Wednesday from you folks.
So if I'm not mistaken,
carpet walker.
Is that like useful or useless knowledge you learned?
I don't know if I want to answer that.
But and Greg should maybe take a trip, and people should also know that there's a museum up at the academy that people should visit.
Sure.
The State Police Academy and the Trooper Foundation store, which is a big supporter of the Signal 30 Fund and to help troopers in need and law enforcement. So those are things that you can do. You can go to the State Police Academy and visit the
museum.
The museum and
never even thought about that. And
we have our field trip we should do.
I love that stuff. I love history. Jen and I spent over 6 hours. This is a couple years ago, even before the top of the World Trade Center was finished. The observation. We went into the Firemen's Museum, and for those who haven't been there, you have to do it. And the architects and the engineers, you always hear about these architects and engineers, how they just botch things up. It's actually an architectural wonder. Just the concrete stairs going down, the original concrete stairs that are crumbled, the fire apparatus, the police apparatus that burned. We spent a little over 6 hours and did not get through the whole thing. It was very impressive. It was very emotional.
Yeah. Did you ever do the New York State Museum where they have a few of the fire trucks from 9/11 there?
No, I never.
I took a field trip there with my daughter one year, and it was impressive. Obviously, the kids at that point were young, and I wanted to focus on that area, obviously, because it was real to me. They're going over to the Iroquois longhouses, and I'm like, guys, let's go. I want to bring them back to something that was real to us, but.
Actually, I was just up at the academy, and they put a lot of money into the main lecture hall. It looks beautiful. I was up there for the Hank Williams homicide seminar, and I also noticed that I'm on the last stretch of the archive wall. So there's no more black and white photos; or all color photos. So in the State Police Academy, when the last person of the class retires, they take the entire portrait off the wall and they archive you. And I'm on that last aisle. I kept looking for where am I? I went all the way around past the library, and I'm going up toward the front. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing
how they move
archive. They move them around, and you don't know. You may go there like last year and go, my photo was right here on this wall, and now it's moved. But yeah, they do move them.
The minute everyone's retired from that class, they remove the entire portrait off, and the next class goes on.
But what do you feel like if you're the lone one out holding on to that one portrait?
I think some people enjoy that. They enjoy being the last person on. It is. I mean, to have 30-plus years on the job is pretty impressive, especially in today's world of law enforcement.
Yeah. They go on the distribution of personnel. I know people that do it pretty frequently and see how many people do we lose this week from my class.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
that's interesting.
Interesting, too, is that your shield gets reused again. So your shield number goes back out to the next academy class.
It does or doesn't?
It does.
It does. After a period of time, it does get recycled back into the class. The funny thing is you can go into what we call a personal data system and see how many people have previously had your shield.
Really?
I'm proud to say that only I have held my shield.
Really?
Oh.
I'm going to have to look.
I always knew you were something.
I'm going to need a favor. I need you to look mine up.
Sir, you come by and I'll show you exactly what's in the system. No, but I did look at your picture on there, because your picture is actually on there, Sheriff.
Yeah, I used to have hair.
Yeah, no, it's some hair. You still had that wonderful mustache though, in the picture. So I was listening a little bit on my way in. You guys were talking about the first responders Christmas in Saugerties that's going to occur.
Yes, the 12th of December. A week
We're going to be there.
Great.
I think we're all going to be there.
Yep, I'll be there.
I think we're having an event too. We're tentatively scheduled for December 18th. We're just waiting to see because of the big backup on toys and all that. I think everybody's going through that if we're going to be able to do it. But we're looking at December 18th, and we're looking at Dietz Stadium. And I reached out to KPD, Chief Tinty, and some of the other local chiefs. Very, very tentative right now, but that's what we're looking at as well.
I never realized to what extent the first responders organization until last year. They did the same thing last year, and it's great. It's great what they do. It's great what you're planning to do because there are so many needy children and needy families here in Ulster County, and to take care of, especially of first responders. Children is very, very important. And Bob did allude to that. Bob was on the previous half hour where he's had difficulty in getting toys. Although I stopped into Sawyer Motors about 6:30 last evening, and it's beginning to look more and more like Toys R Us with the amount of toys in there. And he had one or two people assembling bicycles, and so I can...
He's a great man, Bob, isn't he?
He is. He
does
is.
so much for the community.
He does.
After that devastating fire we had in Glasgow, 7 families got displaced. He stepped right up and gave an avenue for folks to make donations and contributions through his foundation. And as he announced in the previous half hour, him and his brother Larry Circusano, Larry has the dealership up in Catskill, matched the first $5,000, each of them.
That's incredible.
So speaking of the first responders Children's Foundation, they were formed after 9/11 to help the children of first responders that died then and continue to die today. But if you can afford to give, just go on their website and donate some money to them because they really are helping us out here in Ulster County. Like you said, up in Saugerties, that was an amazing event last year. And they had some pretty nice toys, too.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, bikes.
So, absolutely.
It was very, very enjoyable.
It was.
I was there practically all day, help unloading, and, just doing that kind of stuff, it makes you feel good. And especially at the end of the day when you see how many children came through. And I was amazed because I looked at that toys that literally took up practically the entire pavilion parking lot, and the drive-through was on the main portion of the roadway. I said, what are we going to do with all these toys? Yeah. I just never envisioned that, we would give all them out. And when the day was all over with, they were all gone.
Yeah, it was a great, it really was a great day that day.
I didn't get to last year, but I'm anxiously awaiting to actually go there. I did talk to one of the troopers that was there last year, and she had said how wonderful it was. So
it was a great event. It was a great event, and we're in the holiday season, so
yes. December 1.
You mentioned about a donation to the First Responders Children's Foundation. It's just like anything, whether it be Bob Circusano's foundation, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund. What people have to remember is, even if you can only afford $10, it's the accumulation of the buck. And those small donations, those small contributions, they mean a lot. They mean just as much as larger contributions because they grow.
Absolutely.
So don't ever think that you have to donate $100 or you have to donate $200 because that's certainly not the case. Any donation for any of these charitable functions is very, very important.
Oh, like we learned at the Happy Christmas Fund when at the end of that hour, and we were told we made over $11,000. I was like, oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I had people, writing checks for $25. I'm like, it's probably not going to add up very quickly, but boy, did it
ever! It's amazing, isn't it amazing how it is? And Lawrence, where are we at right now as far as pledges? I did announce earlier for our listeners who made pledges to send in their contributions if they haven't already done so.
We're about $16,000 light of what was pledged, so we counted it up the other day. But they still have until Christmas Eve to send it in. That's what the deal is.
But now, when do you go and buy the gift cards? That's coming up.
We bought them yesterday.
Oh, you bought them yesterday?
Yeah, we bought them yesterday. Because we got to get them out by next week.
Yeah.
So they're probably not going to get here till Friday. we'll start, putting the letters, the letters and the gift cards, and that takes another 3 or 4 days. It's just me and my mother doing it, so we can usually get 2 or 3 schools done in one day. So there's 22 of them to do. So they'll be
22 schools.
Yeah, they'll be. Once we get the cards, it'll be like 7 or 8 days, and then they'll all be out. But we wait till we get them all done before we send them all out, because if we send out like 3 schools here and 3 schools there, we don't want the nurses or the social workers calling each other, going, "Oh, I got my cards," and they're like, "Where are mine?" So they all go out at the same exact time.
That's smart.
We had that problem 6 years ago, and now they just sit here. So say if we get done with like Phoenicia and Kingston's Catholic schools first, they're going to sit on the couch until the final one is done. So, but $32,000 in Target cards this year.
Wow.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
So again, to our viewers and listeners, those who made pledges, send in your contributions. Please don't forget to do that. And for those who may have not had the opportunity, right up to Christmas Day, you can make a contribution, a donation. You can do it through Venmo, which is an electronic payment platform, or you can mail your check payable to Kingston Community Radio to P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402.
Something going on? Everybody's checking their phones here.
No, I heard. I didn't know if Lawrence had an extra chair. There might be somebody coming. A surprise guest.
Oh yeah, we got extra chairs. Oh,
yeah, when that person gets here, we'll say.
We don't have. Oh, we got
Christmas
one extra
fun.
mic too. So they're gonna have to hold it in their hands.
Is this like the Christmas spirit, like wish, or something like that?
Of Christmas past is coming. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Okay, great.
Wow, I'm like excited.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
like
all
a
on
little kid
pins and needles
Christmas
now. And this is really all for you, Chief, because I know how excitable you are. We'll see that a little later today at the police chief's meeting. You and I will sit there and excite the crowd.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're going to be willing to listen to us. Christmas, a couple snafus with the emails that went out, but we're all right. We're on the page again. I'm glad we're getting together.
Yes.
I know we're talking about Chiefs Association every year, Ulster County Police Chiefs Association. We usually do a holiday luncheon, and we forego our regular business meeting. But this year we decided to still have a business meeting today at the Law Enforcement Center, and then we're doing our holiday luncheon on the 14th. So it's always a good time. Chiefs Association not just made up of police chiefs, like it would sound, or just law enforcement as a whole. It's made up of various different agencies that support law enforcement in our endeavors to serve the community. So it's a good organization. It's a good sounding board for all police executives to kind of bounce stuff off each other. And Mario and I are the president and vice president. So. It's good. I've been doing it for the last 2 years now, and I think it's a good organization, and it just gives us support. It's a good way to get information out. We utilize it. Sheriff brings in speakers and stuff like that, things that pertain to the current events that are going on.
Training, equipment, new technology.
Absolutely.
We've had people almost every meeting since I've been involved speaking about something or what they can do to benefit the police departments in general. So it's tough to get together,
Absolutely.
and this is a good way for the chiefs and
Absolutely.
the department heads to be in one room.
I want to let everybody know how unique. Yeah, I want to let everybody know how unique the organization is. I'm also a member of the So I'm a member of the State Sheriff's Association, and not many sheriffs are part of their chiefs organizations in their counties, and Ulster County by far is it really is an unbelievable, and it's because of the leadership, and it's because of the people that partake and are members of the organization. It truly is a great relationship that has been going on here for Ulster County for many, many years. The state police knows that. I know that. Mm-hmm. And when I talk about it to the other sheriffs, they're amazed on what we accomplish here together as a team.
How many times we hear that? How many times we hear that from
pretty regularly.
Past sheriffs, past captains? I mean, going all the way back to when Captain Regan was a captain here. You hear that with people that come like from the North Country. It might exist to a little bit of a degree, but I agree 100% with that. I truly believe there's a uniqueness to that. and the level of support and cooperation amongst the law enforcement entities.
And that trickles down to the citizens, because what we end up doing at these major incidents where people need assistance right away, they're in dire need. We all come together without any lack of communication, and we get the job done. And it's been so beneficial for the communities.
Absolutely, and it's so beneficial also to the tax dollar and to the tax.
But if you see it, you go to any major scene, you see most police executives on their cell phones, and it's not really we're not smoking and joking. It's usually like the sheriff or the captain or me or say, hey, what do you guys got? What do you need? You know, this is what I can give you.
Communications.
You know, and
What can I provide to you? You know, we'll ask. Yesterday, an incident, I believe in Rosendale, the sheriff's brought a drone. It was instrumental helping Chief Shaffrick and his agency down there. We'll bring aviation or our drones or the scuba team. We, unfortunately, were with your scuba team and Chief Sinagra out in Sorgades, unfortunately recovering someone from the river. Like, that's that community policing piece that the community doesn't know happens. We all come together to help the community. And it's incredible. It really is.
And the issues that come up, myself and the captain go to these meetings, which we haven't gone to because of COVID, but the meetings right here in the city of Kingston, when there are issues that occur regarding law enforcement, we have these discussions and we talk about it at the chiefs meetings.
And we give input as well as take input from the community. They don't know of some of the services we have, and we provide things to them that will help the community.
It's a great organization. It truly is.
Every time that door opens, you look kind of suspicious at it. I'm just wondering what,
These are law enforcement. They have their back to that door. They're jumping.
But not only that, he mentioned that maybe a surprise guest. We put us out on the limb. I don't know if that limb is going to break or anything.
I didn't know how else to give back to the radio show by providing some type of surprise guest today.
You don't think it's Santa Claus, do you, Sheriff?
I don't know.
Yeah.
If you don't believe, you don't receive.
That's it. You know it.
Santa is real for all the listeners out there.
That's right.
Santa
that's right.
is real, of course.
I tell my kids, why would I wouldn't buy you all that stuff. Do you seriously think I would buy you all that stuff?
That's not that nice. Here we go. We're just picking on each other again.
But no, we're talking about everything. You're talking about getting together, talking about holiday spirit, talking about charity events. I think, and I think I've said it before. Thanksgiving has always been a more important holiday to me than Christmas. Not for anything other than you still get the same benefit out of Thanksgiving and without the hustle and bustle of Christmas. But the Christmas season brings out the good in everyone. The donations, the betterment of the community, and I think it really brings a spirit into people that want to spend time with their family and friends and help their community members out. And I think it's a good holiday.
It is. It's a very good holiday, and just that whole stretch between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And unfortunately, it goes so quickly. It's almost like a blink of the eye, and and it seems that more and more people, and you and I talked about this, Fred, more and more people get involved with decorating their homes. And you saw a lot of these decorations come out well before Thanksgiving. And I was in the city on Sunday, and the decorations down there. I was walking up Fifth Avenue towards past Saks and those other, it's just really phenomenal. And
well, it's nice to see that Christmas spirit after the last year and change that we've had, almost 2 years now, right?
It is. It's like it's never ending, right?
It's been a long run.
It really has been a long run.
Yeah, I know.
If you think about it, we're all in leadership positions during a pandemic, something that hasn't happened in humanity in over 100 years. And you're right. The holiday spirit, really, everyone should be thinking about that. As you know, Sunday is the first day of Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah to our Jewish folks out there. But look, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and whatever celebration that you celebrate during this season, it's extremely important to have family and friends and have a positive attitude to the next year that's coming quite quickly in 2021.
Holy cow.
Oh my God! They let anybody in here.
Isn't he like retired?
It would be nice if I knew that it won't.
Go get you a chair.
It wasn't caught in my former life, so I found it.
Colonel Bobby Newsel just walked in.
That's right. The former.
Talking about a guy that stresses the.
I know you have the spirit of Christmas. You, on the other hand, I just heard. Come on, man.
I explaining to the listeners how I'm more of a Thanksgiving fan.
Agree.
You know, but I still like the Christmas holiday.
It's about eating the food. It's not about eating out gifts.
It's about getting together with family and friends.
He's a heavyweight.
So speaking of gifts, I have a check for $100 for the Happy Christmas Fund.
Oh, thank you.
And my loyalties still go to the captain of the state police, where back when it was. So I'll get it to you in the next few days.
Thank you, sir.
I don't want the Grinch coming after me for the money. You know?
Well, I'm glad. I mean, obviously that's why you're giving it to him. And I mean, yeah, I like to see where the loyalty lies. You know.
Well, it's where my bread is buttered first. But what you guys were just talking about, nowhere in the state do the police get along better than here. And I work throughout the entire state. Nowhere in the state do they do that. It's absolutely amazing. The cooperation and the people of this county benefit so greatly from that. So keep doing what you guys are doing, because it's just proud. Now that I'm not involved, it's nice to see that it's still continuing, you know?
It is. And I can remember when you were here before you moved on up to Albany, you commented many, many times with the fact that you had been around the state, that there's certainly a uniqueness, and the level of support and cooperation is second to none in Ulster County.
And then sitting in my seat, I know that uniqueness so well, because the previous captains in my seat, you included, Colonel, I'll call him Colonel, because I worked for him when I was in Albany in Field Command, that whole carpet walking piece.
The carpet walkers again.
No,
he of course wasn't one of them, but you were referring to like that whole era.
In fact, when I got there, he said, "I wear boots and you will too." So, and I wore my boots.
Okay, it is at the bottom of the hour. In fairness to our sponsors, we do have to take a real quick break, but we're going to be right back, and I'm sure it's going to be quite an exciting half hour.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the Drug Facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the Drug Facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/Drug Facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
This is Greg Jarvis, and once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Rondout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at the Kiwanis Ice Arena in Saugerties. Thank you very much, and have a happy and Merry Christmas.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from Town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Thank you, Lawrence, and welcome back, viewers and listeners who have been with us. And those just joining us, welcome. 331-9255 is our call-in number. We have got a full house here, starting with Sheriff Juan Figueroa across from me, Kyle Berardi, Police Chief, Town of Ulster, State Police Captain Mario Restivo, and Colonel Emeritus, I guess we could say, Bob Nuzzo.
Lieutenant Colonel retired.
Lieutenant Colonel retired Bob Nuzzo, who was a regular guest for quite a number of years on this show. And he was a surprise guest that the state police captain was talking about.
And I when you guys were talking about the Chiefs Association, I just hit the captain up. I said, what time is the meeting tomorrow and where is it? And he said, hey, you want to be a surprise guest? And I'm like, I can squeeze it into my busy schedule now. and honestly, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you back.
I talked about it for years. The best job I ever had, we did it together, Juan.
Absolutely.
We were troopers. It was absolutely the best job I ever had. The freedom to do what you needed to do and serve the public. And I remember when I made sergeant, I called up one of my sergeants and I said, you should be thanking me. I can't believe what a good trooper I was until I became in charge of other troopers. He said, once you become a supervisor, you take on other people's responsibilities. But it truly was one of the greatest jobs I ever had. The next best job I had was the captain being here, because I then got to be in charge of the troopers and really got to ensure that they did the job the way I saw it. And the way I saw it was working together with then it was Tony Cruz and Joe had taken over. Paul was there. It was Perry was down in Rosendale. Danny Wagers and Lloyd, and we were all guys that were cops together. Joe Snyder down in New Paltz. We were all young troopers and deputies and police officers together, and now we were the department heads, and it was an absolute honor. It was so enjoyable. I knew everything that was going on in Ulster and Greene County, sometimes too much, It was like, and then if you didn't know about a mailbox getting knocked down on Acorn Hill Road, you found out about it, and then you found out what the trooper did or what the town of Olive Cop did, and you worked. It was just an amazing time of my career. So, and then we got banished. You got temporarily. I got a life sentence up to. It was purgatory, and then you actually get released from purgatory. And I found that there's a slice of heaven on the other side. So.
Well, I built this legacy, and I have to thank retired Colonel Nuzzo, and now Field Commander Regan, Inspector Michael, all these previous zone commanders that built this legacy that I was told very heartfelt was, don't ruin it. You don't want to be the one to screw it up.
Was that like, don't embarrass us, Mario?
Yeah. But you look at Rob Appleton, who came in here. Yes. He was the first guy in 20-plus years that hadn't come from specifically Ulster County, and he did a tremendous job.
He did. He was amazing.
Friendships,
he really
and
was.
Relationships, and he was brought into then the assistant deputy superintendent in charge of the Uniformed Forces office, and explained, how important it was to that person, who was me at the time, that this continues. And he really, really stepped up, and he knocked it out of the park. And I said, the only thing that you'll enjoy more than this is working closer to home. And he's doing that now. So,
and good for him.
He is working closer to home. I speak to him often, and he's not. He's happy, but he so misses us all.
Not as much fun. We did not go a day without laughing. Even on the bad days, we found time to have a yuck or two. And I talk about Rob still being connected to this zone. A few weeks ago, on the anniversary of Trooper David Lane's death from a trooper up in Catskill, the family does a big barbecue up in Dexter, New York. That's where David Lane was from. And Rob took that 4.5-hour trip to spend with the family of a deceased trooper, and from Troop F Zone 3, and I really admire it. His ownership, complete ownership as somebody from not from there. When we were troopers, it was always somebody passing through from the lower part of the troop to be the captain here, and
exactly.
It's really changed in the last few years, and it's great to see Mario back, because it's a Troop F guy again.
It's funny when you talk about, you look at our careers and all the years that went past, but you're right. When I was a trooper, I had a lot of fun.
We did not go a day without laughing.
There was a lot of fun.
Something wrong. We found a way to laugh our way through it.
We were kids. We were in our 20s. I mean,
Well, the funny thing is, you used to complain about shift work back then, right?
Yeah.
Working overnights, working evenings or day shift, and
there were no 12-hour shifts.
Weekends.
That's right.
Now it's like, man, Sure wish I could go back to shift work. That was a lot easier.
You knew that 8 or 12 hours, that's when you were going to get it. Now, as you know, it's 24 hours.
Oh, Monday through Friday gig isn't what it's cut out to be.
Yeah. Phones, not 1, 2, always on. So, yeah.
But actually, there were no cell phones really back then, and we just had a radio in the car, and we had if we worked out in Shandaken, you had to use the old payphone at the end of Big Indian there. I mean, to call up what was going on in Kingston because there was no radio. You couldn't even talk to Kingston. You had to talk to Oneonta if you were up in Shandaken.
I stopped down in the Shandaken Town Court yesterday and saw Wendy Lockwood, the court
Oh, wow.
clerk, and Mike Miranda, the judge. I was driving through there from a hike I had just done, and I saw the cars out there, and I stopped in to say hello, and it brought back long time memories.
Oh, my
you know,
gosh.
but
That's great.
some things haven't changed, you know. Things are well west of 375, you know.
I got to tell you a quick story about Wendy because she reached out to me a couple months ago. DMV had sent out all these reminders that the license were going to get suspended, and this person from New Jersey called up the Shandaken Town Hall, and she still had a ticket that I issued on the guy's birthday in December, like 30 years ago, and he never responded to it. He goes, "Hey, I got to take care of this ticket." And she calls me up, and so the guy's telling her, like, "Yeah, he's probably retired. He's not around." She's like, "Actually, he is around. He's the sheriff." And he's like, "What?" So anyway, she sent me the information, and I couldn't believe that. Of course, it got dismissed, but 30 years ago, she still had that ticket in the basement. Incredible. So Wendy had reached out to me and talked about
Heartless
that.
on a guy's birthday.
He was speeding on 28 in Shandaken.
Oh, you didn't go to trial?
I would have went, but it was so long ago. I don't remember.
Down now, you just.
I don't remember. I mean, it's 30 years ago.
Do you have them do a memo for that? Action rate memo?
So monthly, we had to go. What was that? The TB16. We had to go back, and every time you got your tickets back, whether it was a conviction or not, and the sergeants would look and see whether you were going to court or not. I mean, it was a big deal back then.
Yeah. Times have changed, but it is. It does show how well that system, even though it's antiquated, it still is accurate.
Well, those, I mean, back in the day, I mean, you were used to keep the hard copy of your ticket, you know, in your own personal file, you know, where you'd write your notes on the back of to remember what happened on the traffic stop. Now everything's electronic and, you know,
prints it out for you.
Usually wrote what the guy said to you too, like, you know. In detail,
But you can't.
See you in effing.
But you can't repeat on the radio show.
Different now because now everything is memorialized on body cam. We talked about that the last radio show. We have those instituted troop wide, so it's
that's a big thing for the state. I mean, I know obviously the state for years has been operating without surveillance, like not surveillance, but cameras in their cars or anything like that.
We had some in the early 2000s, some car cameras, but not body cameras. No. So
it's the way of the future. I mean, ours have been delivered. We're starting the installs on ours now. I did a whole new in-car and body cam system. It's integrated, so it actually records both. The body cam's actually the lens moves to adjust to where the focus on its own. I mean, it's pretty sophisticated how technology has advanced to deliver that type of image.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, I can remember, I don't know how many years ago it was, but when the talk of body cameras for police officers in the different police entities here in Ulster County, what a big, wide range in views and opinions from those that were sitting in your seat. I can remember even Joe Snyder, who was a fairly regular guest, the police chief ex-police chief from New Paltz, and then how that change all occurred, where they saw the value, and your people in the rank and file saw the benefits and the value, how it could protect them so much better with false accusation. Oh, absolutely.
It absolutely does. In the almost 4 months that we've had them instituted, it's been fantastic.
I mean, let's face it, people, they have the opportunity, whether it's just an outright lie or they amplify it to a degree to justify their complaints.
And that's one small facet of it. That is very important, but it does help in the prosecution end. It does help in the recollection end for the trooper when they're doing notes on standardized field sobriety tests. We all know couple prior troopers here, how, it's arduous to try and remember what did that person do if you're not taking notes, and that can be unsafe. Trying to take notes when someone's doing tests, but now they just go back, they review it, and they take their notes in a clandestine setting inside the office where it's calm and they can write notes after they watch their own videos. So it's been fantastic.
It's a great resource. It's a great tool.
It is, but technology does have its limitation. It doesn't have the same view as an eye, a human eye. And, as remember December 31st of last year, there was an incident in the town of Ulster that they went to the poor chiefs, were protesting outside, but it was one of our members. And I went and I released that video. And although it wasn't pretty, it showed the whole story of what really occurred. And instead of the civilian doctored video that was out there, I was able to put that out there. And it was something that we weren't used to doing, but we did it. And a lot of things came from that. And a lot of learning comes from that. Sometimes you want to control the narrative in a way where you want to be able to tell what happened and not just have a one-sided story out there. So yes, the cameras are great, but there are some limitations to it.
I think the biggest resistance to police executives was the cost. It's a huge financial, burden. It's a huge data storing burden.
I was just going to say, the cost of storage.
And the state police, I was involved with the initial development, and it's a huge endeavor. I mean, you're talking about 220 stations across the state, 4,000 plus troopers, and supervisors on top of that getting cameras. It was such a nightmare financially of developing policy, not the policy itself, but developing a program and building it to something that large. So I think it's great. I think when you know that you're on camera, you're better behaved, and it does show what really happens in there, and as opposed to the clipped video that somebody decides to pull out when things start going sour. They don't show what led up to that. So
you're right.
I think the officers in this generation are more well equipped than we ever were.
Absolutely.
They're better trained, better educated. They're better equipped with body cams and dash cams and everything, and they don't know the difference. They come on not knowing the difference of what life was like before that. And I say that to my younger officers. It's like, you guys don't know how easy you have it now, because this is all there already. We created this for you. We had to go through the growing pains.
Yeah.
You're coming on not knowing it.
And it changed. It was different for the generation before us than for us. So things progress, and it's good to see things progress, and the public benefits from that. So it's one step at a time. And you talk about they don't know any better. My son is in his 12th week at the New York State Trooper Academy, so he knows a little bit of the past, but he also is part of the future, and he worked as a civilian for the state police, involved with the body camera program. So he saw that thing being developed, and he'll see it, but he also has heard the stories of the past, and he'll know it's a little different. But he's part of the future, and I'm excited for him. It's
got to be good, following in his old man's footsteps.
Great,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
great.
hoping that it's funny you say that, Greg. I'm hoping that he's going to put in for a request Troop F. I know that he has some Troop G connections.
He lives up in the Capital District, but he wants to work. He wants to work down here, and we'll see what plays out. He's still got 16 weeks ahead of him, so it's not over. It's not over yet.
You mentioned about
Definitely not.
You mentioned about the training. In this day and age, the training has probably got a whole new look to it. It's a whole new beast compared to what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Even 20. It changed when I got in the academy in 2000. I saw it evolving into more of a incident type based training. They're training in different modules, where before it wasn't like that.
Yeah, his second week in class, you get called out and you're sent to a call, and the calls escalate as your time there, goes on. But it was like a lost property complaint, and it was just learning to deal with people. And there's troopers that are actors that play these things out. And as things go on, I remember when I was right before I retired, walking through the academy, and the recruits are in class, and it was towards the end, and recruit Trooper Figueroa gets sent to a call, and he goes into a room, and it's a violent domestic, and it's two defensive tactic instructors, and basically they're fighting, and then they're fighting him. And the poor recruit walked out of this thing, his tie was upside down, his holster's hanging off him, and he goes back and he's getting himself straightened out. He walks back into his classroom, and he sits down, and the guy sitting next to him is Recruit Trooper Berardi, and he gets sent to the call, and now he knows what this guy just looked like coming in. So now he's already like, I can't. And they know they're escalating, but it's to teach them, as opposed, we were taught. We got sent back out to the troops, and we were trained, and then the first day on the road, you could be rolling around in a domestic. That was your first real world thing where they're getting this from the get-go. It's an interesting strategy, and I think it's proving beneficial to the young recruits.
Yeah, it gives them that experience. So you and I probably heard this. Oh, you'll learn that when you get out on the street.
Yeah.
And
they're learning it. They're learning it in there.
They're learning it in there. It's important. It gets them one step ahead.
Sure. And the academy changes every class, from 50, 60 years ago, because we heard it, it wasn't as hard, and you heard it, you heard it from us. And
we were the worst
what I used to
class,
tell, when I was the captain and when I was the major, I used to tell the recruits, the academy changes, but the commitment going in there on Sunday night and leaving your home, and I left Long Island. I used to drive from Long Island, a 3-hour ride up here, and then you spend Sunday night all through the week and get out at 4 or 5 o'clock on Friday and drive home. That commitment alone is, if you can do that for 24, now it's 28 weeks, that says something about your character.
And it's a tremendous commitment. I remember going back up there as a counselor, and I was very, very lucky to do that. And that was a lot of fun. I mean, when I was in the Marine Corps, I wanted to be a drill instructor, but that was the closest thing that I got to up at the academy was as a counselor. And it really is a rewarding experience to teach recruits. And it was a lot of fun. And you're right, each academy changed. And it's just like if you look in the troop card today, when I was a trooper, there was something in there.
It's like the space shuttle.
Yeah.
And you look at it now, there's all kinds of technology changes in there. It's just an amazing change. Law enforcement has always been evolving. Always.
An office on wheels.
It is.
Absolutely. That's connected to many different things besides vehicle locators, to computers, to documenting systems, to ticket printing, to accident reports. It's all in there. And
Well, you ever look at the wiring harness in one of those cars? You wonder how the car even operates. It's like, like this thing even starts up every day. I can't believe it. A lot of wires coming through by the firewall, and it's just like I just can't believe the amount of technology and that goes into it. And obviously, I'm in the business of purchasing cars and upfit, and I'm in my position. It's expensive.
And that's why
not a one battery system anymore.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's why I have reservations about having these hybrid cars as patrol cars. When you have somebody that's really, let's face it, you're in your 20s when you first start the job, sitting on top of a battery that has so many things attached to it for 12 hours a day. I mean, what effect does that have on the human body? And maybe I'm old school, but I have a reservation with having hybrids out there.
Well,
when you have a big county.
We're also talking about what happens when there are an accident. So there's still that technology and working out how do we handle.
And that's a great point, because there's certain parts you can't even use jaws of life on these vehicles.
I would say that, I have a few of them. I don't think the verdict's out yet on them, on the sustainability of them and how well they're going to survive police work. They're working. I could see some reservations about it, though, because, compared to some of the older cars, what the concerns are.
Now, are those used for administrative purposes, or you don't have any?
No, they're on patrol.
They're on patrol?
I have 4 hybrids on patrol.
We have vehicles that are 2019, so roughly 2 years old, that are in 160,000 miles. So think about how they're used 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, and that's just a vehicle in Ulster County.
Do that with a vehicle that has to be recharged. There's pros and cons, and I'm not convinced either. But perhaps we are old school.
Yeah, maybe.
We're a little older than these two young guys here.
I'll give you an example. I went up to, there was a accidental. Somebody passed away up on Lundy Road. Person here that we probably all know, and I'm in a Tahoe, and they told me I couldn't drive up there because they had 3-foot potholes. These hybrids have a low clearance. They have a low clearance, and to take the cars up there, it's okay if you have a 3-4 square mile area that you have to be responsible for, but when you're the state police or a county, it's a bigger area you're responsible for. It takes an hour sometimes to get to some of the places within the county, and to have these vehicles, I have reservations about that.
Well, that Rosendale Police has the Tesla they put into play.
Which I love, by the way.
Which I have to say, Chief Shaffrick, if he's listening, he gave me the opportunity to tour it, to ride in it. A fantastic vehicle. He does use it on Saturdays. I did get an opportunity to drive it. It's a wonderful car. I am a Rosendale taxpayer, so I do own a piece of it, I guess.
But, yeah, I agree, but he let me drive it as well, and I was impressed by it.
I'll take the payment for your portion of it.
You're welcome.
Got to be some sort of ethics violation there with.
He can't get his hand in his pocket. Did you see that? He can't get his hand.
It's really just lunch. We always just do that.
It is a great car, the Tesla.
It is a great car. I know he uses it on Saturdays. It's one of the vehicles that they use on their Saturday beeline. But I agree, there are limitations to it. But Rosendale's a large area, but yes, it's not something you want to use
And again, we're old school, and there were guys back in the day that didn't like you if you decided to get a car instead of trading in your horse. So we'll move forward. We'll move forward. But there were those guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Motorcycle with a sidecar.
Yeah.
Or take your horse back for the winter.
Change can be difficult. I see birthdays here. Did you guys do that already?
Yeah, we did.
There was only one.
We walked in late, Mario. I was sitting there trying to put my tie on in the parking lot, and you were contemplating life out there. I don't know what you're doing.
One of the two phones rang, and I was on the phone with a sergeant. It's always
in fact,
happens.
Sheriff Figueroa was the only one in here besides Fred and I, and he did the honors of reading it.
Well, happy birthday to our one winner. I didn't get to say happy birthday.
That's a Geary, but there were no moo sounds though.
No bell.
No, the cow is just
the cow's out to the pasture today.
It's just been lackadaisical lately, but still have my cowbell, courtesy of Art Van Benscoten. Okay, we've upgraded. Did you see this, Bob? Here we've upgraded cowbells.
I have to say, Ann Hass, our zone secretary, as the colonel knows, wonderful person. There's cow pies in the freezer right now at SB Kingston, and we enjoyed them for lunch yesterday as a dessert, and they'll be there. You're welcome to stop by.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting.
Obviously, you didn't get that invitation,
if
huh?
Listening, now I know.
The invite was, hey, do you want to stop by tomorrow? Wasn't, hey, do you want to stop by today?
I know.
You might regret inviting the cow pies. He may clear that freezer out.
The cowbell brings back memories. I grew up in Long Island, and there was a elementary and a middle school right around the block from our house. So it was a quarter-mile walk to the school. My mother had a cowbell from our trip as young kids to Wheeling, West Virginia, and it was an authentic cowbell. And you played until that cowbell rang, and my friends would hear that bell and oh, you got to go home for dinner. You could hear it. It's in the pantry at our house still. That cowbell brings back memories. My kids answer to a whistle.
No, definitely no. But they're a staple at SB Kingston. We should all.
Well, thanks. Thanks. I never got an invite,
but I haven't heard about them being made recently.
Yeah, she's doing banana bread a lot frequently, but
she's got that health kick. Okay.
Well, speaking of high school, I was at the Walkill High School yesterday. I graduated Walkill High School, and I go every year to talk to the social studies class. It was actually my social studies teacher that swore me in when I became the sheriff, because my mom and dad had already passed. So I went there, and Eric McCartney was there, and I was in the library, and somebody broke out a picture of me from 1982. Oh my God! I looked at Eric. I'm like, you better put that away.
Is that currently on the wall down the high school? Because I could take a trip down there. It's not. No, darn.
But it was great to go to Walkill. The school kind of looks the same. All these flashbacks when I was a young kid there, and it was great to talk to the kids. And they, like Bobby said, they're the future. They really are, and they are the future if they're interested in such a great and honorable profession. Even with all the naysayers that are out there, this is a great profession.
It's interesting you say that, because I had a lot of my son's a high school senior, and his friends come to me and ask, hey, so, what can I do to become a police officer? Now I have to push the slogan, right? So the state police are hiring, and we have you can sign up for our test. It's going to be issued, going to be put out in January. But no, there are still people out there that want to do this job, and that's really heartwarming. As much as change, it's still a good.
And you know what?
It
You
is,
say
it is.
with the naysayers, yes, there are naysayers out there. They're in the minority, I feel.
I've said that for years. I used to, when this stuff spins up, I used to tell the troopers that there's a small, very, very vocal portion of society that is speaking out right now. The majority of the people support what we do. And I said, I just stress, don't give those people a reason to join the other side.
Great point.
Go out there, do a great job, treat the public the way you want to be treated, and the majority of the people will rise to the occasion. This is a very, very vocal, small group of society.
Absolutely.
I'll go back to, we have done a great job here in Ulster County. You guys are continuing it of keeping people's fears at ease, because we don't have the problems that you see in other parts of the country.
Unfortunately, we are out of time. Great to have all of you here. Sheriff Juan Figueroa, Kyle Berardi,
Thank you,
Police
Greg.
Chief, Town of Ulster, Captain Mario Restivo from the State Police, and Colonel, retired Colonel. You don't want me to call you Robert, do you? Bob Nuzzo. Great to see you. You want to pop in a little more often. And with the fact that we're not going to see you gentlemen until after the first of the year.
That's right.
That's right.
Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holidays. And thank you, Lawrence. And most importantly, thank you, listeners and viewers. We'll be back here next Wednesday, same time, same place.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Same here.